Hello and welcome back to another live stream by BoomBoomShack. I've been told that I should probably say at the beginning of my live streams what it is I'm going to talk about. And I think in this one, apart from my continued quest to become good at this game, so full disclosure, I am new at this game and I want to become very good, but that is not currently the case. So I also think what I'm going to talk about is actually how I actually got started playing. How I got started reading audio comic books, and how I started this channel. So it started back in 2015. I had just graduated from a mechanical engineering degree, and I was going to do a master's degree at a much better university. I had a scholarship from that university, which I only really took because it was a much better university. I didn't actually want to do a mechanical engineering master's degree. I actually wanted to do robotics as my course. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, I didn't really apply for robotics. I only applied for one course, and that was this master's degree. The reason for that was, I suppose, my silliness, my immaturity of wanting to go to this university over doing anything else that I might actually like doing. Anyway, it's actually kind of a bit more difficult than I thought it would be to play this game whilst discussing it. Who the fuck is shooting me? Who the fuck is shooting me? Yeah, so needless to say, as you can probably imagine, I wasn't very happy doing this master's degree, and I started watching a lot of YouTube as a way of, I suppose, becoming a bit more happy. And I came across some. I'd always initially thought of starting a YouTube channel, but I came across mukbang at that time. If you don't know what mukbang is, it's basically this Korean thing, I think, where online streamers eat supposedly like vast quantities of food, and this is entertaining to people, I guess, who just want to share in that person's life. I personally didn't think it was so much about like eating vast quantities of food. I understand that that's sort of a challenge that they can do as a sort of a goal for the channel, but I thought the reason that people watched it was more because, just like me, maybe they were unhappy and they were tired. They just sort of wanted to be part of somebody's life in that way, and this concept really interested me, and I suppose I wanted to sort of start something like that. I didn't know what I would do if I live streamed. I didn't think I would want to eat vast quantities of food, and I actually didn't have a computer or even a connection that was good enough for streaming anyway at that time. But one thing I did like doing was reading about Star Wars. So everyone's been listening. So I came across all the Star Wars comic books, which had just come out at that point. And I really enjoyed reading them. And I thought maybe like it would be quite cool because there were two things I liked. I liked reading these comic books, but I also liked listening to audiobooks. And I'd walk around listening to my favourite audiobook, which at the time was Ready Player One. It's, I suppose, after I learned about VR and I learned about this book called Ready Player One. Maybe I'll talk about it another time, but it's a great book. and I thought maybe combine these two things together. So maybe reading an actual book would be too much. It would take too long. I was trying to run away and I checked the notes. It would take too long to read, and I didn't think it would be that interesting because it wasn't a visual thing. But because I was reading these comic books and I was reading Star Wars, I thought, make a Star Wars YouTube channel. And initially, like for instance, if you look at the first comic books I made, they were always me just talking. I didn't try and do voices. I didn't make any specific effort. I didn't to like do anything other than just talk through it, like as a sort of a narration rather than like any sort of acting. I'm not sure I'm going to get this guy actually. I'm a heavy, so my weapons aren't. No, I don't know. There's somebody close behind me. Yeah. Where am I? Ooh, last place. I was actually talking, but somebody just entered behind me. So, I'm not the last place. Officially on the scoreboard. Where was I? Yeah, so all I really wanted, I suppose, was to be what YouTube has been for me, but for somebody else, by reading through comic books and just sort of being in their space, I guess, their private space, as a sort of comfortable thing, with something that perhaps they enjoyed as well, like Star Wars comics, Star Wars in general. And as I started doing it, I realised that it was actually a little bit of I guess it was a bit of a niche. There weren't many people doing audio comic books, and I don't think at the time there were anyone doing Star Wars audio comic books. Actually, I'm not sure if that was a good idea. Don't seem to have the patience for that. Assault, maybe. Perhaps that'd be slightly longer range. So for 2 in 1. Yeah, so there was a sort of a bit of a I wouldn't call it a market, but there was an audience for audio comic books, it seems, and for Star Wars ones in particular, which I really enjoyed, and I decided to put more effort into it. And my favourite comic book came out maybe a couple of months later. It was Kingdom the Last Battlefront, and since I had a bit of experience with narrating now. Oh shit. I think part of the issue with this game actually is that I have this light behind me. If you see, my lighting is quite good, at least on my face, and it's because there's this ring light. So it makes anything that's sort of between me and the ring light slightly dimmer to my eyes, I think. And so this nighttime gameplay is actually a little bit difficult. I've realised. I'm going to go for now. Okay, just stick with this. Yeah, so Kingdom was by far my best audio comic. I really tried hard with that. I did the voices, but I really tried to make each one different and consistent. Tried to do the music better. Tried to make no mistakes, and I had a really good time doing it. Partly because it was my favourite one, and the response was brilliant. It was by far my most popular comic book, and it was one that was the most liked as well. And that sort of spurred me on to keep doing this. By this point, I'd actually left my course. I didn't think it was worth the emotional pain that I was inflicting upon myself. So I took some time out, and I kept doing the audio comic books for a while through the summer. But then, I suppose as I became more happy, I was less interested in diving into sort of fictional world, and I was becoming more interested in learning things like factual things. And I tried to, perhaps unsuccessfully,
Grenade out!
Never thought we'd be shooting walkers.
well,
The
we won.
rebels
So
overreached.
that's right.
Their force is broken and will escape Endor to find revenge. Walker in position, ready to breach the base.
So I wasn't sure that I was actually going to do any gameplay today, because I had a bit of a hiccup with some feature in my body. It made me feel like playing games, but now I'm feeling a little bit better, and I didn't want to like miss the first day. Sorry, not the first day. I didn't want to miss the Sunday stream when I said specifically on Friday that I would be doing a Sunday stream. I don't know exactly when my streams will be. Maybe I'll have a like a consistent time I do each week, maybe a few times a week or something that I stream. I'm not entirely sure yet what I'm going to be streaming. So I suppose this is the second part of what I wanted to talk about today. Firstly, like why this channel came to be, and now what I'm going to be doing on it here on out. So it sort of ties back into what I initially started my channel for, which was just to sort of be a part of people's lives in the way that some YouTubers were for me when I was unhappy. And because I have this game now, which I hope that people would like. I mean, many of my subscribers come from a Star Wars fan base, so probably a fair amount of them would like this game, and I like this game. That's important. And I have the ability to stream now. I have a computer that's good enough, and finding an internet connection which actually works. So initially I was going to perhaps play some Star Wars on this channel and then make another channel. Okay, no, isn't it? It's been a bit funny, right? It's the first time I've ever had any issues. Yeah, so now I'm able to stream. I was planning on just streaming games and making a separate YouTube channel, perhaps for some other things I was interested in. One thing that I was interested in was what is personal finance. Doesn't sound very interesting off the bat, but I sort of developed a sort of little obsession with it, and I feel like I know enough for it to be interesting for me to talk about, and hopefully interesting enough for people to listen to. Okay. So about it. Alright, don't think so. Oh shit. Fuck.
The main computer is ours. No need to protect it any longer. Head to the other targets. Activating Walker Bay override.
Alright, fuck it. I'm gonna be heavy again.
Together. They've halted the Walker Bay override.
Alright, where was I? Yeah, so it was sort of going back to the initial purpose of my channel, doing these kind of live streams, and I thought, well, as I have this sort of user base. Oh no, I was talking about what I was going to do on this channel. So we'll go this one.
Fuel station access codes transferred. Move on to the final target.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah, sweet, I got it. Oh, shit. I like it. That was actually quite far range for a heavy, I would say. Well, it wasn't that far range, but it was far enough that it's kind of enjoyable to be sort of back and be able to take people out when they can't see you, but still have enough that rapidity of fire that you can just take them out. So yeah, other than gameplay, create a new channel to do things that I was interested in, like personal finance, and it's really good. There was a few things that I was interested in. Oh, okay, so I've started to learn Japanese. I actually started to learn Chinese back in the summer, but Chinese is quite a difficult language, which didn't bother me. In fact, that's why I was doing it. It was entertainment purposes. Entertainment purposes of learning something quite difficult. But I didn't watch any. Well, I've never really watched any Chinese cinema or TV, so it didn't really make that much sense. And then I was not having to, but I was enjoying learning other things, waiting for my PhD. I recently started a PhD in robotics, where the first year is a bunch of courses that we have to take as part of the PhD. And so I was learning stuff for those, C++ programming, and generally just going through the textbooks. Sort of motivated to do that. I was finding it quite fun, so I wanted to do that instead of Chinese. I mean, part of the reason I was learning Chinese is because I always had a sort of fascination with that country. I felt like it was a sort of, I guess, mysterious country. I didn't know much about it, and like a few things that I'd learned just seemed really interesting to me. And I came across some YouTubers who actually, some Western guys who were living in China for over 10 years, and they could speak the language really well. And it was quite fascinating initially, and they made some really good videos about traveling around China and sort of things they'd learned in China, I guess, from a Western perspective. So you get a very good idea of what it was like to live there, and that was great. But there was a few things that didn't interest me so much, and of course one particular thing, which was I was probably never going to actually go and live there. I realised. I mean, for one thing, for one thing, they don't really hire engineers or foreign engineers because they don't have enough Chinese engineers. They don't really need them or particularly want them. So the jobs that you get are perhaps like teaching English as a foreign language, which I thought about, but I didn't really want to do. I wanted to be an academic, and even being an academic there, they've got plenty of their own academics. I mean, one of the people that did my PhD, or a number of them are Chinese. They've got more than enough, and it's competitive enough just for the Chinese guys. I don't think they'd even hire Westerners to do those jobs. Whereas Japan, a country where I had actually seen their entertainment, their movies, their cinema, their TV, like anime, for instance. I was never a huge watcher of anime, but there was a couple of things I enjoyed. One of my favourite. Oh, what's this? Jump up. One of my favourite TV programs of all time is an anime called Erased, and so because of this, and because after studying my PhD, I actually found that the specific area that I'm going into in robotics, I mean, not only is the area of robotics something that Japan has a lot of research focus on, but the specific area I'm working on is something that is quite big in Japan as well. So there's a possibility for me in my third year. The PhD is a 4-year program. The first year is like a Masters of Research, where you do some courses and a large project, and then the last 3 years of your final PhD, like any other 3-year PhD in the UK. What kind of...
Unidentified
not heavy
ally
anymore.
fighting stormtroopers.
Not entirely sure.
Rocket on target. Walker damaged.
Yeah, so there's a possibility that I would go to Japan in my 3rd year. And because of that, I thought it would actually be really interesting to learn Japanese. And as a sort of short-term goal, because I actually like the entertainment, or Japanese entertainment, I thought one really cool use in sort of the short term would be to watch my favourite anime, Erased, without subtitles. Would mean oh yeah, of course I picked something different. Sweet. Yeah, so I would be able to use the Japanese that I'd learned to actually start doing something immediately that was sort of practical and entertaining, before I even went there potentially as part of my PhD. And my goal really is to only learn a sort of a conversational level of Japanese, not enough to, for instance, become an academic and write stuff in Japanese. That'd be too intense for my current purposes. I would like to learn how to read and write Japanese. I know it's quite involved, but right now I would be happy just to not use English subtitles when watching anime. And in fact, whilst initially it was just the anime Erased that I wanted to watch without anything, I've been recommended another anime called no, stop it! Why are you shooting me through a tree? Come on. Yeah, Welcome to the NHK. It's an anime about hikikomori in Japan, which you may not have heard about, but it's basically where people who, I suppose, through social anxiety and unhappiness, decide to not be a part of society and they live maybe off of their parents or through savings, or they find some way of living, but they basically just shut themselves away and don't interact with the outside world, which is something I sort of identified with. I wouldn't necessarily with myself on, but certainly I had a lot of anxiety and I did shut myself away to some extent, and I suppose I understood them in some way. This anime is about this hikikomori, although he doesn't stay hikikomori for very long, which I suppose is understandable, because there's only so much you could do with an anime based entirely inside somebody's room. I suppose like any anime, well, not any anime actually, I think Erased actually is a really good example of an anime that doesn't follow the usual anime narrative, but I suppose a commonish anime narrative is sort of the user who becomes cool in some way, meets a girl, and becomes becomes like brilliant at what he does. He finds some sort of pursuit and becomes brilliant at it. Whereas Erased, no. Whereas Erased is more about, well, I suppose it is sort of like that. I mean, there's this guy, he works as a pizza delivery person and he wants to be a manga writer. Sort of writer? Or drawer? I don't know. He wants to make mangas. And he hasn't really broken free, but he has, like, I guess it's like a superpower, I'm not entirely sure. Where, like, a few seconds before something happens, I think he has some sort of flashback. Oh yeah, right, so something is about to happen and then he goes back and he relives that moment over and over again. until he figured out what it is that was about to happen, like maybe somebody was going to die or something, get hurt or something like this. He lives this moment over and over until he's able to basically stop it. But then this one time this happens where he's not sure how much I want to give away actually. Something happens like seriously in his life, and this happens like where he goes back in time, but this time it's not just going back for a short amount of time. He goes back to when he was 10 years old and there was something happening at his school, like these people were being kidnapped, and so he actually stays in that period. He doesn't repeat anything, but he stays from then, and he goes through his life like he's a child, you know, at his school and with his friends, etc., until he can figure out who it was who actually committed this crime. Because if somebody who he actually knew originally was the person who was put in prison for this, and it turned out that this person may or may not have done it. I'm not going to tell you any more about it because I think it's such a good anime that it'd be worth watching. To be honest, even if you know the story, I feel like it would be just phenomenal to watch anyway. Even if I spoiled everything for you, it'd still be worth watching. But so because of that, I don't really feel like it followed the normal, the normal narrative of an. Oh Christ, hide! Yeah, but this anime called Welcome to NHK about his people in life, and I suppose it does sort of follow a similar narrative in that there's a girl and he wants to make something of his life, but it's at the moment at least it's less making something of his life is more about just coming out of his shell and getting the confidence and reducing the anxiety enough to to not be a hikikomori anymore. So it's actually a really good story, and it's really interesting. Different sort of vein than The Expanse, but did I keep saying The Expanse? I mean, Erased. The Expanse is also a really brilliant show, actually. Science fiction show. But that wasn't what I was talking about, because I was basically saying that I'm sort of developing an interest in at least some of the better written, or the really entertaining anime. Actually, that's a bit I'm sure there's many great written animes I've just seen them, but I would actually be interested in reading myself or watching myself. And so other than just watching anime without actually having to use English subtitles, my other goal, it's a slightly longer term goal, is when I do read and learn to read and write in Japanese, be able to read Erased as the manga. So I've tried reading it in English, and I say try. I mean, I read a little bit of it in English, but it was right after I watched the TV series, and it was pretty much word for word exactly the same. So I didn't want to go immediately over it, even though it's definitely worth watching. I think I'm going to go over it again. Interestingly, there's actually a live action Erased that I saw on Netflix, also in Japanese. So that'd be really interesting. I didn't know how exactly I would combine learning Japanese on my channel, or my new channel, and I'm not sure, because I tried filming myself learning it, because I have this app called Memrise, which is just brilliant. I tried recording the screen, which wasn't brilliant. I used like a free trial of an app, which ended almost immediately. That wasn't, I don't know, never seen a trial that lasted such a short amount of time actually, but I did it for like 2 minutes, and the video wasn't even very good because my voice was out of sync with what was on the screen, and I don't know, there was just a few things that went wrong, and I wasn't sure it was actually very interesting, like for people to watch, if I was just like going, because obviously they pretty much have to rely on them wanting to learn Japanese themselves to watch me just learning Japanese. I thought maybe I'd like talk through it, so I'd be like, oh, why did it do that? I hadn't even picked every yet. These things are cool.
Assault force now landing. This cloning facility reached
yeah, I wasn't sure how interesting that would be to watch. But one thing I do want to do is basically just live stream what I do, rather than try and create videos that are heavily edited. There's a couple of reasons for that. Partly because I'm in the middle of a PhD, and so my time is relatively limited. I work quite a lot. But also because my initial sort of goal for this channel was to sort of be a part of people's lives a bit more than just, you know, bullet point videos that are heavily edited. Oh fuck. And I thought I would be able to do that better if I was live streaming. Yes, I can click heavy now. Sweet. It's a sort of easier, I guess, to talk through things when I'm playing a game. Although, once it's not easier playing the game, and I'm already not brilliant at the game, but it takes away my concentration even more. But it's a more fun way of doing it, I think. And it's like there's something to watch other than just me talking. But I think I won't always do that. Depends what I have, what kind of thing I want to talk about that day. What I want to do. If there's obviously other things that are visual, then that would take the place. But sometimes I think just being able to talk to the camera, that would be, or to, you know, directly to the subscribers. But to me, it's obviously just like the camera standing in front of me. So, right, it feels like I'm in my room talking to the camera, which I'm sort of comfortable with that. And that allowed me to sort of live out the kind of YouTube experience that I wanted to. I've got to get up early tomorrow, actually. I'll be in the office. Don't actually have an office, to be honest. One of the great things about a PhD is you don't have to actually be anywhere at any specific amount, like for any specific amount of time, or unless you have like a meeting or something. You can pretty much just work at home. Although, whilst like, at the beginning of the PhD, I was working the sort of 9 to 5 schedule in a room. Ooh, come on. I found it worked much better like that, but then I thought I would, because I had the opportunity of working wherever I wanted, I decided I would work wherever I wanted, and I tried to work at home for a while, and that wasn't very fun. So I'm going back to just working. Oh yeah, you should. What? I can't even see. Oh. Really? Okay. What have I got now? Oh wow. Didn't even realise I was doing that well. How was that even possible? I thought I was like, because I was talking, I couldn't concentrate that well.
The east landing pad will be ours shortly.
Whoever is watching right now, say hi in the comment section if you want. I feel like you have to. Just thought it'd be interesting to see who it is. Sometimes it's comments I get from people who comment on a number of my videos, so it's fun to see a familiar name. Right.
Securing the west landing pad.
So other than Japanese and finance, I suppose I could say a bit maybe about what kind of things I was going to talk about to do with planning, which I think would be appropriate because it sounds kind of abstract. Like what would I even talk about? It sounds kind of boring. Like if you're not interested in it, it's like, well, why would you talk to me about personal finance? But the reason I find it interesting, at least, is because the problem with any job, even a great kind of job that I have now, is that you have to there's always many constraints on it. Like you have to maintain a certain level of interest for extended periods of time in one single topic, which is great. If it's an interesting topic, it works quite well. I mean, I do maintain an interest in my topics relatively consistently. But the thing is with my personality, and I think probably most people have got those with my personality, that's what I can really refer to, is that I have many interests, and they're at a greater or lesser extent over a period of time. So for instance, I might be only wanting to do robotics, to just be totally into robotics and nothing else for a period of time, but then I might want to do something else almost entirely after that for a period of time, not have to think about robotics at all. Oh, did I get a grenade in there? I think I did quite a lot of damage. It's quite cool. 6 deaths, 5 kills, that's pretty good. You're doing no bad. Yeah, so I mean, your interest levels are always going to vary, and obviously that's just a part of life to figure out how you can focus on, or what you need to focus on for your 9 to 5. And I have got quite good at that over the years. Although I used to be terrible at it. I really had to force myself a little undergrad to concentrate for long periods of time like that. But one thing about having controlling personal finance is that you would have is that if you had enough money, you wouldn't have to just do that one thing on a consistent basis. Because, like for instance, even if you didn't have enough to retire on, if you only had to work, like if you had a huge quantity of money that you could live on most of the time, and all you needed was some sort of supplementary income, then you could just work like 1 or 2 days a week, or you could continue working your job. But like, for instance, my job will probably lead to me being an academic, which is what I want. But there are some things to being an academic that I'm not that into. Like for instance, the many, I would say, researchers, after a while, they start to focus on lecturing and admin work, because they get paid extra money to do those things. It's understandable, you know, they have families, they have things that they want to do in the future. And so they start focusing on the less enjoyable aspects of being a researcher or an academic. Whereas if you had a lot of money, you wouldn't have to do those things. Like you wouldn't have to take on the extra teaching responsibilities for a few thousand extra a year. If you're making that few thousand extra through like some sort of passive income source, like for instance, let's say you worked really hard to save up a lot of money, and then you're making interest on that money. Let's say it was like 5 or 6% if you put in an index fund and now it's doing well. There's no guarantee that it will do well. But if it was, and you were making like, let's say you had £100,000 in investments, it sounds like a crazy amount of money. And yeah, I certainly don't have that kind of cash right now, but that's like what I'm working towards, and I think I can go over in videos like how you could probably get there a lot quicker than you think you can get there. And if you were there, then 6% of that is £6,000, and if you had that kind of money, you wouldn't have to do those extra admin work, you wouldn't have to do those extra teaching things to make a few thousand extra a year. And that's sort of the first goal. And then the more extreme goal is how much would you actually need, and what kind of income sources other than work, and I think that you really have to put too much time into it, and you could do in your own time, in your own way, that would give you enough extra money that you could retire relatively early and not have to work ever again, even part-time potentially. You might not even have to work part-time. In case you can't get out there. Then this one doesn't open in. This is weird. Confused now. Okay. Why would they... If this one back here was open, why the fuck were they all Why weren't they all back there? Standing there too. Yes, if you had all those income sources and that money saved up, then you wouldn't have to actually work much or ever again. You'd be free epic stuff really. But die, you will die. And how you would get to a point where you could retire or semi-retire and just have enough that you wouldn't have to do the things that you didn't specifically want to do. It's sort of what I want to talk about a lot. And I think because I have this sort of this following on this channel, I think at least, like, even if it's just 1 or 2 people that are that would be interested in this, I think it'd be worth talking about that on this channel rather than making a separate channel for that. And it sort of makes sense in my overarching goal of that whilst I know a lot of subscribers come here for Star Trek and Star Wars, I do actually love Star Trek too. I think that my goal, at least, with this channel was for it to be oh my god, yeah, for it to be a sort of live stream that's being a part of people's lives kind of thing, similar to sort of my own version of what mukbang is in South Korea. The reason I started it in the first place. And because of that, I could really talk about anything. It's just basically what do I find fascinating in my life, and I think if I'm interested in that, well, which side am I looking? Sorry, everyone. If I'm interested in it, and maybe other people will be interested in it. No, don't do that. Mystery too. Then I can talk about it, and hopefully other people will be interested in it too, and that'll be sort of what my channel's about. And so basically, whatever else comes in to my life that I'm really excited about talking about, and that just to be my channel, or like something else. For instance, is I've taken up reading as a sort of a pastime, and some specific genre of books I'm interested in is actually Jesus Christ. Is adventure books. I mean, I like Great British Adventures, but really any adventurers, like going to extreme places, and true stories. Like, not that interested in fiction. I like fiction if it's Star Wars or Star Trek, something that couldn't be possible in this world right now, or maybe could have achieved it. But if it's something that somebody could have achieved, like I don't mind reading about. I love reading about Frodo's adventures walking to Isengard, because it couldn't have happened, but I don't want to read some fictional account of somebody walking to India. It's like, well, why would it be fictional? I could just read somebody who actually walked to India, right? Why would I want to do anything else other than that? And so I think... Okay. And so my hey yo, what's good, man? Oh, hey, man. It's good, man. I'm talking about what things I want to do on my channel, on this channel. I think I'm not going to make a separate channel to do things other than Star Wars related content. So I was going through sort of what I wanted to make videos on. I'm not going to go over it again because that'd be repetitive for people who have seen it already. You can actually, I think you can, well, I know you can rewind and see stuff actually, but I was just talking about, okay, victory. I was talking about how I'm sort of interested in reading books now, and adventure books in particular. Now I really don't like fictionalized adventure books if they're possible in the UK, or not in the UK, in the world, or in the universe rather. If somebody could have walked India, I don't want to see a fictionalized version of it. I want to see or read a book, but somebody actually did it. Whereas if it's fictional, then I want it to be something like Star Trek or Star Wars, where it couldn't have really happened. But I've sort of gone over everything I want to go over, I think, in this live stream. I was thinking I would probably end it at the end of this match, and I got there now. And I've done a lot of talking, so I think I'm going to end it there. You need to work on that game for you, bro. I can't barely hear you. Oh damn! I hope all my talking hasn't gone to waste. Yeah, no, I turned it down. Sorry, it was turned down from yesterday when you said, but I listened back to yesterday's live stream, and I realized that it was actually too quiet. Like I could barely hear the game volume, so I turned it up a little bit more, but not close to being what it was when you told me to turn it down. So I thought you'd probably better hear me fine. Yeah, well, when I get a new mic, it will definitely be a lot better, because this one is just like the mic on the actual webcam itself, which is terrible. And I think my voice is really low as well, because I've been talking now for, I don't even know how long the live stream has been. 45 minutes. Yeah, I've been talking consistently for like 45 minutes. And I think my voice is going to go. Yeah, I'm going to, I have a better mic, but it's in my family home, so I'm going to have to get it. I'm going home at the end of the month, actually, so I'll get it then. But like I said, I think it's partly my voice. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it there, though. Thanks for watching, and shout out to the person who watched the entire thing. Hope to see you. Wish I could say when. I think Tuesday. Tuesday is a good day. I'll do a new live stream on Tuesday, and Vin says go vegan, because that's the thing right now. I'm not fully vegan, but it's a good lifestyle. It's I wouldn't say that's what my channel is about. Maybe it would be in the future, but I mean, it's not going to be about that. But like, if that would be a part of what I was doing, then obviously it'd be something I'd talk about. Anyway, I'll end it there. Thanks for watching.